heck is left? In my books, this is what, 30% left? And then what, 12% on other people's criticism. I never liked her anyway. She never said good morning to nobody. Can't stand her, right? But it's not verified. How do you know she doesn't like you? Maybe she has a domestic situation at home. Maybe she was picked on as a kid and never overcame it, never addressed it. Maybe the thing that most bothers her is her children. But we come up with these stories, we get a full story. She thinks she's all that. I can't stand her anyway, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't know. And they're probably saying the same thing about you. Look, I believe in being interactive, so if you don't engage me, I'm going to engage you. I'm going to let you know right now. But that's 82%. That really doesn't leave a lot of focus left. That leaves 18%. So for guys, I'm sorry, I apologize up front. I'm on your side, but I have to be honest. 10% of our focus is on health. Now, if you're a man, men don't like going to the doctor. We like to work it out ourselves, or we figure, you know what, just give me a minute, I'll be all right. But unfortunately, many of us don't follow up and actually go to the doctor. Sorry, Rob, you may be a little bit different. But the point is, if you don't go to the doctor and you're a man, your health actually may decline. So that's a reality. So that leaves 8%. 8% of our focus is on real concerns. Now, I need your help here. Somebody tell me, what's a real concern? What's a real concern? Yeah.
My parents' health.
Your parents' health. Someone else on this side. What's a real concern? Just shout it out. Eating. Overeating. Shelter, yes. Finance, absolutely. Those are real concerns. So if only a small portion, 8% of your focus is on things that really matter, do you see this? Our focus is all out of whack. Not to mention social media doesn't help. Not to mention, movies and media. We get our focus all out of whack, and only a small portion of our lives is focused on things that really matter. We've got to do better. Now, this stat here, I tell you, when I first heard this, I was about 13. I never, ever forgot it. And it will probably go to explain why I do and have done so many different things in my life. I heard that human beings only use 10% of the brain's capacity in a lifetime. That just didn't make sense to me. A lifetime? What, 65, 70, 80 years? You're only going to use 10. What about the other 90%? Does that make sense to y'all? But that's what they're saying about us, and they've been saying that for years. Even if it was 20%, it's still not enough. There's more to us than an 8% focus and using 10% of our brain's capacity. Who wants freedom? By show of hands, honestly, who really wants freedom? Look, in order to prevail, you have got to fail. That's the bottom line. Everything is not going to work out exactly the way you want. You're not going to get the exact money for the deposit. You're not going to be able to get all of the benefits that you want right off the break. It just doesn't work that way. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. You got to fail in order to prevail. You don't get it just because you want it. You've got to earn it. When you earn it, then it comes your way. So as they say, my other book, Aligned by Design, things become aligned by design. But not just because you say it. Somebody help me finish this statement. You can't win unless what? What do you say? Yes, right, I'm calling you. You can't win unless what? Say again. Unless you fail. Someone else? Unless you get in the game. Unless you try. Unless you focus. Look, you can't win unless you sold out on you. You're the best ticket in this town. I'm telling you. I don't have to know what you do. I don't have to know what your interests are. If you really mean what you mean about what you say you love to do, what you're passionate about, where you want to be at the end of the road, or where you're on your way to go right now, you cannot win unless you are sold out on you. If you're not sold out on you, why should your supervisor invest in you? Why should your manager invest in you? Why should your kids believe you? Why should your spouse honor you? Being in a relationship is wonderful. And yes, you do love and support each other, whether it's a personal relationship, or with your children or coworkers, but you've got to believe in you more than anyone else. And then your belief in yourself will make them feel good. And then they believe in themselves. There's no telling what the two of you can do. This is who this presentation is for, leaders. Being a leader does not mean you have to be a supervisor. Does not mean you have to be a manager. However, if you are a supervisor or a manager, it's definitely for you because there are people that you are leading, showing the way, paving the way to get where they want to be. So it doesn't matter as long as you know that in you, a leader resides in you. Even if a leader has to be born from today moving forward, this is for you. Everyday people. Who works here? Everyday people. Black, white, young, old, heavy, thin. It doesn't matter. Everyday people. That's what the leaders look like. Some of them are empty nesters. All the kids are gone. Now it's just you, right? This is what they look like. They're graduating now. Sometimes they're just graduating at, 19, 20? Sometimes they're graduating at 30 and 40. It doesn't matter. There's no age on graduating. This is who this presentation is for. The young entrepreneur. It doesn't always mean the young person. You could just be new to the industry of being an entrepreneur. This is who this is for. It's for everyday people. Whether you get the old advice, traditional thinking, whether someone's trying to sucker you into a deal and say, hey, man, you want to go to dinner? And they take you to a hotel and there's a whole bunch of people and they're like, yay, right? I've been there. We've all experienced those things. But it's for everyone. Even people that have messed up in life. Everyone that's messed up is not a bad person. But they have options. And many of them don't know it because of the rules of our society. Brick and mortar, same thing. You can have had a business for 40 years doing things a particular way. There's still room for more. MLM, all that. All these things are realities of our society and realities of our life. We've either tried them, been involved with them, and it's something that's realistic to us. Some of us are still involved with some of these scenarios. So, hey, who remembers their first car? Really? What did you have?
76 Chevy Nova.
Chevy Nova. I remember the Nova. Well, someone over here raised their hand. Who else? What did you have? 95. Someone in the back. Skylar. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time. That's Buick, right? Yeah. Someone else? Who remembers their first car? What did you have? What? Woo, he went back. What about your first apartment, condo, or house? Yeah. Now, who married their high school sweetheart or their childhood crush? Anyone? Oh, really? Wow. But these are important experiences for us. These are really important experiences. They sort of begin to mold and prepare us for life down the road a bit. And some of these first experiences, they make a big impression on us. But it's important when you radiate the brain, you can change the game. So if I say radiate the brain, you say change the game. Exactly. And that's what today is all about. I want to share information with you that will get you to begin to think about changing some things. Not necessarily everything, but just the things that need changing so that you can get where you want to be or, hint, hint, where you need to be. Because sometimes we're undermining ourselves. Like the sands through the hourglass. These are the days of our, that's the truth, that's the reality. We got to get beyond traditional thinking and do things differently. So why me? What gives me the experience or the wherewithal to talk to you about all this? Well, I've been through all those scenarios, literally. My family's had a brick and mortar. I've been in MLM. I used to be a millennial. Y'all didn't catch that? I'm a baby boomer. I'm in a position where, I have no young children. I mean, every scenario that I share with you, I've gone through that. It's just a fact of life. But where my movie buffs at again? It was about 4 of you, right? Who saw National Treasure, Book of Secrets? Okay, I was in so y'all remember me from the movie? I was in National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. I was in a scene we were fighting on top. No, I was kidding. There was no train scene. I was in a couple of scenes in the movie. I was in the scene in the opening when they're talking about the authenticity of their family and history, and Nicolas Cage and John Voight are going against Ed Harris, who's in the rafters, trying to prove that, well, my family's got more, proof and this and that. And anyway, that was one scene. But the scene you can see me in, I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. The movie had just come out, right? So, going to the theater, went to the concession, gave my daughter the popcorn, gave my son the soda, had the Twizzlers, right? And my daughter says, "Daddy, there you go." And I turned around. I was gone, y'all. I was like, what? So, of course, I had to buy the DVD just so I could see me, because who's going to believe that I was hanging out with Nick Cage, All right, we didn't hang out, but still. But it was a great experience. And music has been part of my background. I've did a lot of music. I've been in the studio with people like Freddie Jackson, Diana Ross, Fred McFarlane from D-Tran. Just a lot of, of the old soul and R&B artists, Ray Goodman and Brown. Actually, I was expecting to be an international singer. Now, I did some of that, honestly. I have sung and performed out of the country, did about 3 or 4 CDs, and I was excited when they sent me an email saying, "Hey, you're in the top 20. You're in the independent jazz charts." I was like, wow. But I was at a crossroads. It was like, do you continue with your music, which will entertain people and make them excited for a little while? Or do you choose to prepare to encourage, inspire people that may impact their lives for a lifetime? So I chose speaking. And when I knew that I didn't feel any regrets, I felt comfortable with my decision, I knew I had made the right decision. But I would do stuff like, "There I go, there I go, there I go, pretty baby you are." Y'all know that one? All right, Luther Vandross and Earth, Wind, and Fire. I love all that stuff. That was my thing, almost all my life. But every now and then, there comes a time when you have to make change. So I did. In addition, this is the big one here. I don't know if I can get the guys in the back. This is the video. Can you guys hit the play button on this as it's standing there or sitting there? It's a little clip I wanted to share with the audience here. If you can hear me, there should be a play button in this clip. This was my experience not too long ago. I never thought that I would be a part of a reality show. And that reality show was called the Keynote. Now, we did take the reality. Okay, go ahead, guys. Let it play. One more time. You missed the play button. Yep. Click. Okay, I'll just go ahead and explain it. It would have been nice, but the reality show, I was in a show with the 32nd top speaker in the world, a gentleman by the name of Del Toro McNeil. Now, it's not something that normally I would have expected to do because this wasn't on my radar, but he took myself and 8 other speakers, trainers, and coaches. They put us in a mansion in Tampa, Florida, and every day was totally different. Every day. Now, Kayla, I know you saw the show. Sharon, you saw. Anyone else heard of it or saw the show? Man, it was just amazing. We took the show to Bravo, TV One, BET, and a few others, and they wanted to change the premise of the show, and we didn't want to because they were challenging our integrity and the integrity of our reputation. So we decided to raise the money and do the show ourselves. And we did. And it was a web-based show. There are 2 seasons. Season 1 came out a couple of years ago. Season 2, perhaps this upcoming fall, I'm not sure. But it was a wonderful experience when you work with some of the best people in your industry. So I cherish that moment. In addition, I am FLETC certified, for those of you who know Homeland Security. I got certified there, and also the trainer program at the Service Quality Institute in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been a member of the National Speakers Association, Toastmasters, and most recently, I'm certified as a positive leadership coach at George Mason University. But it was not always that way, truth being told. I tell people my story, and I ask you, again, can I be transparent? Yes. Okay, great. I tell people my story because I'm not ashamed of my past or my experiences. It's not who I am. It's just what I went through. I was a bad boy. I went to the School of Hard Knocks, graduated from Brooks University, right in New York City. Any New Yorkers in here? Woohoo! All right, recognize, right? But that's the truth. I was a follower. I didn't understand, who I was. And I was seeking to find who the real Charles was. I always tell people, I seek clarity. And I seek clarity because I want to understand. I want to know. My dad told me one day, he said, son, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, that's a problem. And when he told me I was about 9 years old, I'm thinking, okay, sure, Dad. I'm a 9-year-old kid. What does that mean to me, right? I understood the words, but I didn't understand the deeper meaning. So I remember it very clearly. It was a Saturday morning. I got up, went to wash my hands, and I got stuck just like that. Because the words started coming back to me. Son, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror, that's a problem. 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 And I'm like, why am I thinking about that? I couldn't stand looking at myself in the mirror as I was washing my hands. And the reality was, I was a drug addict. And I never wanted to face it because I kept telling myself, oh, no, I can stop anytime. I'm good. I told myself that lie time after time after time. And I would sneak out the house because my kids, I didn't want them. My kids were all over me. My kids loved me. I was crazy. When their mother wasn't on, we'd run and jump over the sofa and play all tag. And you're it. No, you didn't get me, right? Daddy, let's play. So I would sneak out so they wouldn't come after me. Then I'd get into the bathroom. I put one foot at the front door and I braced myself with the other foot so nobody could bust in the bathroom. And then I'd get my crack stem and I'd smoke day in, day out, year in, year out, until I realized after 20 some odd years, there was no denying it. Come on, who am I going to lie to? After 20 some odd years, I had tried every drug in the book. And that was it. Well, every drug except for intravenous drugs. But, it didn't matter. I did everything else. But that was my bottom. And I couldn't believe it because my kids, they would knock, knock, knock. Daddy, you in the bathroom? Knock, knock, knock. Daddy, you gonna come play with me? Knock, knock, knock. Daddy, you still in there? Knock, knock, knock. Daddy, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I'd be like, oh, snap. Take my stem, put it on the top of the medicine cabinet, open up the curtains, open up the window, and I would fan the smoke because I didn't want my kids smelling the residue of the smoke. And I hated myself because I couldn't believe that this is what I had become. Knowing that I had become that, I knew I needed to change. And I couldn't imagine changing because it was hard. It was hard to break those chains. But I give my kids credit today because of them, I've become a different person. See, this thing took me out. But this is my why. Those 6 people right there. My 3 children and my 3 grandchildren. This picture's a little bit old. It's about 2 years old, I guess. But they are a big part of why I do what I do. But you're going to have some challenges, folks. Drug abuse was my challenge. I was able to overcome it. Now, if none of you have ever gone through that in that severe manner, what can you not do? There are no excuses. What can you not do? I know everyone's different. Men are different than women and personality types. I get all that. I met all sorts of people. In fact, I met people that had been in treatment 19 and 20 times. You ask me? Insane. I knew I didn't have to do it 19 times to know that I had enough, that I needed to change. Why go through that same cycle? Well, maybe that was for their life, not for this life. Dr. Phil says it all the time. It's a little soundbite in his original show. I want you to be a part of your life. If you're not a part of your life, you're just existing. It's time to live, not exist. It's not your first rodeo. It's not mine, I know. You see that monitor? After everything was all fine, I got a call that said, we need you to go to the doctor right away. I'm like, what's up? We think you got cancer. I was like, come on, not cancer. After everything, I get on my feet. Life is seemingly wonderful. Resume singing, doing poetry, all these great things in movies. Now I got to deal with cancer? But I had to. Got my questions answered. Asked the doctor, if I don't do anything, what do you think? He says, I'll give you 2 years, and I don't think you're going to make it beyond that. Immediately, I told him, I do not receive that. I want a second opinion. Went to Johns Hopkins. They gave me a bunch of tests, asked me a bunch of questions. The only thing that I experienced was fatigue. So I said, let's wait. Yes, yes, let's wait and watch. I was supposed to come back in 6 months. I came back in 3 years. The cancer spread from my chest to my hip to my bicep to my back, all over the place according to them. I said, okay. There's a book that says faith without works is... All right, so my faith was intact, and I said, let's move forward. I got this chemo, 6 months. The cancer was gone, so I thought. It came back 8 years later, more aggressively, coupled with jaundice. So here I am, yellow eyes, and I'm saying to myself, man, you look like an X-Men with no powers. Now, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. Because I had never gone through anything like that. Nothing as dramatic or traumatic. So I got my questions answered once again, and they tried something different. They gave me a combination of what's called bendamustine and Rituxan, and it worked. So they entered my case into the hematology and the oncology journals. First time ever, that they'd had a patient that responded like I did. A month ago, but this is December, early November, the doctors, he said, yo, man, you're amazing. He says, I need a blood sample or a tissue sample because I need to share this with my colleagues. Unfortunately, Doc, I can't give you all the credit. If you know, like I know, there's someone and something greater than him that helps keep us where we are. And I give a lot of credit to that. And Maya Angelou said it also. When you know better, you do better. You can't keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. We all know the definition of insanity. So I've gone through these challenges on numerous occasions, 2000 to 2003, 2011 to present. And I'm just grateful that, I have the opportunity to still do other things, even in the midst of my own challenge. Because when I first told my family that I had cancer, or that the doctor said I had cancer, they thought I was kidding around. And I'm like, no, that's what they said. They said, stop playing. What did he say? I had to physically shake them and say, the doctor said it. That was then. This is now. Steve Harvey says it all the time. The dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately. So you've got to get out there and hustle. Do you want to go into another organization? Do you want to go to a higher grade? You got to hustle. And what does that mean? Open, honest, clear, and direct. At least be that with yourself first. Then maybe you can have the conversation with your supervisor, with a mentor, someone that could help you get to the next level. I heard stories just today about people that were helped to get to the next level because they showed that they had what it takes and what it took to move on in their lives, right here at HUD. So why can't you? Write this down. If you're not writing down, I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff. People, this is going to be one of your biggest challenges. Some people are so negative, they will stomp out your dreams in the midst of you telling them. Stop telling everybody your stuff. Stop telling everybody your stuff. If you're trying to get to the next grade, maybe everybody don't need to know that. Okay. Maybe everybody doesn't need to know that. If you're preparing to go back to school, maybe everybody doesn't need to know that. Just do what you need to do to take yourself to the next level. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth of it. I have to be honest with you. You want to be around people that are positive, people that are encouraging, people that will listen to you, people that will lend a shoulder. And sometimes they may even give you money. Not, for any unscrupulous reasons, but just because you may have a true friendship or relationship that they're supporting you in a way that you need. I've had it happen to me, so it can happen to you too. I'm not that different, and I'm definitely not better than you. This is the one thing I tell you about some of the toxic people. You can't afford to let them in your personal space. And I know it can be tough because sometimes we live with them. And unfortunately, some of us may even share a pillow with toxic people. So you got to move on. You cannot let them in your mental space. You stay on your side of the pillow. Number 2, places. What kind of places do you go? Are you going to places that you can flourish? Are you going to places that are mentally stimulating? You need to be in places that allow you to grow, whether it's libraries, business districts. You need to be around people that are about something. When I'm around people like Dr. Willie Jolly and Randall Pinkett from The Apprentice and George Fraser and Delatoro McNeil, all these people, when I'm around them, can anyone guess what is the number one thing I do? Someone, what is the number one thing I do when I'm around? You got that right. I listen. I observe them. I observe how they are with each other, and I observe how they are with their audience. There's so much to just watching, so much. But you want to be in places that you can grow. Give yourselves a round of applause. Most people don't want to be in a workshop or a seminar. Most people don't want to be on a teleseminar. Most people don't want to be on a webinar. You guys have taken time out of your day to do something probably didn't have to do, but it's only going to help you. And most people are not here in these seats. Now, for those of you that are around in the other satellite offices, kudos to you too. Give yourselves a round of applause because you deserve it as well. Number 3, what type of things are you doing? That's a big plus on whether you move forward or not. What type of things are you doing? Are you just hanging out? You playing PlayStation? You watching a movie? You're on Netflix? You're on Facebook? There's nothing wrong with those things, but you can't do it so much that you're not giving yourself an opportunity to grow and develop. There's nothing wrong with eating. Ain't nothing wrong with hanging out. I know I could go for losing a few pounds, but the reality is you're not going to get an ROI by going to the buffet or the happy hour. So here's a suggestion. Take your business cards when you go out. You never know, there may be someone there that you can help. At the buffet or at the bar. I know you may think, ain't anybody trying to listen at the bar. You never know without trying. And if there's no one there that you can help, there may be someone that can help you. Here's a question for you. What is the thing that you talk about more than anything else? And when you talk about it, you actually light up inside. Maybe an actual smile comes to your face. Whatever that thing is, I promise you, you may have just met your purpose. Now, you can answer me, but the answer is really for you. Whatever that thing is, it's the thing that will fuel you. It's the thing that will keep you going. It's the thing that you want to do even when there's, everyone else is asleep. You're still up because you're excited about it. You're interested. You want to tweak it. You want to work it. You want to make it into something. You want to turn it into something else. You're excited. That's the thing you're supposed to be doing. That's the thing you're supposed to be doing. Some. Ernest Hemingway said, you're the sum total of your thoughts. So I say, what is it that you're thinking of? And more importantly, what is it that you will become? You see, because of your thinking, maybe you'll just be something. But if you're thinking a certain way, you may be the total sum. So what sum are you? Some or some? Give you something to think about. You see, number 4, write this down. You're the CEO of YOU. And as a CEO, you have a vested interest in everything you do. The people you're around, the places you go, the things that you do. It's up to you. If you're not getting an ROI on what you're doing, you may be doing some of the wrong things or things that don't serve you. You need to have an ROI, even in your recreational time, even in your social time, even in your personal time. You mean if I'm chilling, why do I need an ROI? Because maybe you need to recharge your battery. Maybe you need to refresh your thinking. You do things differently, you get different results. I'll never forget, this is one of the biggest highlights in my life. I heard, you've got to be willing to do the things today that others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. I heard Les Brown say that. 2002, I was in a multi-level marketing organization, and I was starting to lose my love for the company. The company was great, but something was pulling me, and it was like, this is great, the training, but I need to be doing something different. And I didn't know what it was, and I didn't want to walk the high wire without the net, so I stayed there. But when I heard Les Brown say that, I said, I can do that. That's what I want to do. I was so excited. I went home, and I did nothing. Guess who was the keynote speaker for the next regional event? Les Brown. And I said to myself, he's got to say it. He's got to say it. I love when he said that because I was so excited. And honestly, it didn't matter whether he said it or not. I knew that was my confirmation. It was time for me to take action on doing something different. So I got back into music a little bit. I recorded some music and all this and that, but it led me to being right here. Willie Jolly told me, he said, Charles, you're singing, you're in movies, you're doing poetry, you need to tell your story. And that was sort of the beginning of the becoming of an author. That was the beginning. I started learning more about the speaking business. How do you do it? What do you need? I have invested thousands upon thousands of dollars into my training. What kind of website? What kind of business cards? What kind of marketing materials? What do you do? How do you do it? How do you look? How do you act? How do you, all that. Because I found my sweet spot. What's yours? What's your sweet spot? Number 5, you're going to need resources. Resources comes in the form of people, places, things, the internet, advice, suggestions, maybe even signs on the side of a bus. Everything can help you if you open your mind to it. You have to radiate the brain, and if you don't radiate the brain, I promise you, the game will remain the same. It will. I promise you that. Now, it never comes a point when a speaker's on stage that he doesn't sell you something, so let me get this out the way. Hold on to your pocketbooks, ladies. You ready? All right. I told you earlier, you have to be sold out on you. If you're not sold out on you, nothing matters. And that's what I'm trying to sell you. I'm trying to sell you on yourself. I'm trying to sell you on the fact that you are good enough. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter if you have a physical impairment. It doesn't matter if you have a language challenge. You are good enough to do that thing that you're excited about. that means something to you. And you must, not have to, not should, you must believe that. Without believing it, it will not come to light. I remember as a child seeing 65-year-olds graduating from college. What's your excuse? If not you, who? If not now, when? You got this. Another prime point I remember. Any Oprah fans in here? Anybody like Oprah Winfrey? Just one person? Oh, 4? 2.5, okay. I remember, don't nobody tell nobody this, right? I was watching Oprah Winfrey. All right, God. All right, I was watching Oprah Winfrey one day, and Deepak Chopra was on it. Y'all know who he is, right? So Deepak was telling Oprah, he says, Oprah, and no offense to anyone of Indian heritage, I'm trying to paint a picture. He said, Oprah, he had a piece of string attached to a washer. So he put his elbow on his knee, and he says, Oprah, I'm going to move the washer side to side. And ever so gently, just like Mother Hannah's moving, the washer started moving. I said, oh, snap. So I'm looking, because I'm skeptical. And I said, he must be doing like this. He must be moving his fingers. They zoomed in on his hand. Hand was still, but the washer had started moving from side to side just a little bit. And Oprah, you know how she is. She's talking, and right. So he says, Oprah, I'm going to change direction. And the washer started going back and forth now, front to back. I was like, oh, snap. So you know what I did, right? Went off, I went and found me some string. Got me a little binder clip. I didn't have the big one, so I got me a small binder clip. I said, let me try it. So I got still, and I thought about what I wanted the binder clip to do. Go from side to side. Ever so gently, just gently, it started to move. Now, I'm in a closed room, so there's no draft. All right, get that out the way right now. But it started to move, and I said, wow, you big dummy, you should have recorded it, because no one's going to believe you. But it doesn't matter. It's the belief you have in yourself. Everyone doesn't have to see what you believe. Just like no one saw me move the binder clip. But imagine if you had been working on something all of your life or for a great period of time, just like a martial artist, and you got good at it. What could you not change using the power of your mind? That's why we radiate exactly, but you have to begin. You must begin. In order to prevail, you must fail, right? 87% of people don't like their jobs. They just sit there until it's time to retire. And then you know what they say? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just getting out of here, though. Right? What kind of life is that? You have to live, not exist. Live. Or you can do this. Same thing. Y'all can join me. Day after day, month after month, year after year, and then you look back 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and again, you're ready to retire and have no idea what you're going to do. So you'll probably say, you know what, I'll save for 2 more years, which really means 5. Come on. You are all you've got. Even if you have children, they can't live for you and they can't die for you. You are all you've got. If you don't radiate the brain in yourself, what are you expecting? Can someone read this? No trick. Someone read this from the mic. I promise I won't say anything. Please. Someone from the audience read this over the microphone in the middle. Please. Thank you.
I would first like to say thank you for sharing very personal details of your life and battle with cancer. Your book has been a great inspiration to me. Being a first-time and new business owner, understanding how people think and the exercises that can be conducted to help me as a person and entrepreneur is a true blessing. Although I have not completed reading Radiate the Brain and Change the Game, I am excited about what I have read and how it is challenging how I think and how it will help change my thinking in the future. This book is a must-read, and I promise you will not be disappointed.
Thank you. See, I have a responsibility, and I'm almost done here, folks. Honestly, my responsibility goes back to my little friends when I was a little kid, the ones that are no longer here, the places of worship that I went to, the friends that always tell me, oh, Charles, you're doing good, but they're no longer here, my grandmother and my grandfather that's no longer here, my brother who's been gone, he disappeared off the face of the earth, all my best friends. I have a responsibility because of all the tragedy in my life. I was able to come up, and I'm still here, doing things that some people can only imagine, and some can't imagine. So I feel a responsibility, not a burden. Don't get me wrong. It's not a burden, a responsibility. Because many of them, they wanted to be basketball players. They wanted to be successful singers. They wanted to be successful business people. Well, I'm very fortunate and grateful for all of the opportunities that I have. So every audience, I feel a sense of responsibility to give you everything I've got because I know that it can happen. I know that it can happen, but I can't do it for you. You have to be willing to do the things today that others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. I can do it. Can you say, I can do it? Say, I can do it. I can do it. Can you do it?